Dude, for real. He's just chugging across the driveway like no big deal. Get your homies. Bring them all back. Tell them it's a party at the Hendricks house. There's a hot tub. You can all get in it.
So, as you can see, I've already started. Okay, so check it out. This is what we've taken off already. All the stock stuff. This is the Rock Krawler Adventure X Series high clearance long arm kit. And when they say long arm, they mean it. And you can see, compare this is a lower rear or front control arm.
It is heavy.
It's way heavy.
It's got some real beef to it.
And if you compare it to, put it next to this one, you can compare it to the factory arm. This is a lower front control arm, factory. And compared to the Rock Krawler one,
that's massive.
Yeah, and way heavy. So we're gonna be adding a lot of weight to the Jeep. I think after I'm done, I'm gonna go weigh the Jeep. There's a cat scale not far from us, and we'll just weigh it just to see where we're at. I mean, after all this is put on, we've got bumpers, front, rear, skid plates. I'm just curious. But that being said, here's the front end, or the front diff. I've got an Arctic Industries truss to put on it. Fits really well, so should be a cakewalk. I'll just burn that in.
That's these, right?
Yeah, they're on there. But I'll just burn that in. I'll remove some of the stuff off of it before I burn it in and grind off the paint. And then, so this kit is a 4-link front, 3-link rear. So, and it's a high clearance. We're gonna have to cut off all these brackets, the lower control arm brackets, shock bracket, the upper control arm brackets, the track bar bracket, both sides. And then this truss right here is for the upper 3rd link in the 3-link rear. I've got to weld that on, and it come with all new brackets. So this actually, here, hold this.
Okay.
That bracket will come off, and
this right here.
Yeah, both of those brackets.
Okay.
So these are the lower control arm and shock mount brackets, and the way they go on. Rock Krawler is kind of genius for this because they give you, it's just a helping hand in mounting the location where you mount these to. So for the 3rd link, cross member here, and this, I was worried about this until I opened the kit and realized how it all worked, because if you don't do something like this, you got to take a ton of measurements, which I'm still going to do anyways. So you put this against the differential cover, and then I can't roll this back because I have the brackets cut off, but this will roll back, and when it's flush against this, you know it's in its proper location.
Oh, this whole thing right here?
Yeah, this will rotate back. I can't right now because the brackets are in the way.
Yeah.
This will rotate back, and when that's flush here and it's flush on the diff cover, it's in its location. I've still got to figure out side to side where it goes, but this is great. I'm glad they did this. Also, the brackets here for the control arms and shocks, they go roughly right in here. There's an angle I'm sure that it's supposed to be, but with doing this, you really don't know where it should be exactly, right? So they give you this little tool here which I'm glad because it saves me a lot of headache. But it goes, I believe it goes like this. That'll bolt in this hole here, and there's a hole here as well. So what that allows you to do, I mean, this don't get moved. I'll move these blocks off, but this bracket don't get moved. So that's where you come off of here to put this in its right location or proper location, which it'll be over here because this will be gone. But you bolt that here, bolt this here, that puts you where you need to be, and you burn in your bracket. It's great. I'm glad they
And then
did
you
that.
take that back off?
Yeah, you take this back off, flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. So
Okay.
they gave you tools like this. It's gonna help tremendously. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. That was my only reservation about doing this kit myself. I know I can do it, but placement of brackets was, it's in the back of my head, like I gotta have
The
them
angles?
perfect. Yeah, I gotta have them perfect or it's not gonna work right. So they give you stuff like this.
So Rock Krawler made it pretty easy,
Yeah, absolutely.
in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, in a sense.
It's even better. It's a well-done bracket. I mean, you're literally cutting off all of your factory brackets. You need this stuff to be strong. So, yeah, they need to be well done. This thing's gonna be under a lot of pressure, especially when you're twisted up and sand all over Moab. You want to know that this stuff is all gonna be good, and it's not going nowhere. So, but that's it. That's the brackets. Frame and differential. To compensate for all that lifting the shock up, it's got these new shock towers up here. So the JL has an outboard shock design that's different than the JK that are inboard. The JKs used to mount, or the JKs mount up in this area here. When they did the JL, they did an outboard shock, which is great because when you go coilovers, you already have a good spot to put them. You know, I always wanted to go outboard coilovers on the JK. Well, the JL has them already. But this will get grinded off here, and since you got to move the shock up so much, you got to push this up because you're going to be running 4 to 6 inch lift shocks. So this is going to go up in its place, and it moves the shock up as well. So I'm excited. This is going to be a really good kit. There's quite a few of them out on the JLs already. This will be the first one that's going to be put on the diesel. So there's a few things that are different. The cool spring rate is more because it's a heavier vehicle with the diesel.
Oh, show me the difference between these springs.
Okay, for sure. So these are rear springs, they're smaller. These are your front springs. They're triple rate spring, and I've ran these for years on my JK. Love them. They're soft. They unload really good when you're flexing. It gives you plenty of stretch. Okay, let's look at this one compared to the factory. This is your factory spring. It's just a regular linear coil spring.
Oh my gosh.
So its compression rate is basically, I don't know if it's different as it compresses, if it gets stiffer or what.
Come here, Cricket.
But the difference is crazy. And usually what happens when you put the weight of the vehicle on this spring, these top few coils will compress, and that'll be your unload. These will be your unload coils. When you're flexed out and this thing stretches, these will start opening up, and it allows it to stay seated in the bucket. A linear spring like this, when you flex a certain amount, it just comes unseated because there's nothing else to unwind. And they'll fall out. Like these will fall out of the perch. They come off the perch on the axle side or on the frame side. But with these being where they can compress, it makes it way better. And I mean, you can see I'm not pushing that hard on, but like They're spring, it's a soft ride. They ride amazing. So, I'm super excited. I can't wait to get all this on. It's a lot of work, but it's going to be way worth it. Same thing with the rears. They're going to have a certain amount of pulls that are compressed when the vehicle weight is on it, and that just allows it to come unsprung when it does flex, which is good for sure. Yeah, this is straight beef. These are the upper and lower mounts that I got to weld onto the frame for the arms, and then it's a high clearance, so it goes up in the frame. Nothing hangs down too far, and that's why it's called a high clearance. That and the shock relocations in the rear makes it a high clearance, but that's great. And so over here, we're gonna have to cut off this bracket here. This is your lower control arm factory mount. This one here is your upper control arm mount. That's got to come off. This has got to come off. Moving over here, same thing. This one and this one both have to come off. We'll cut them off and grind them smooth. I'll have to move this stuff here. This is different than your regular JL since it's a diesel. It's got these extra sensors. I'll have to move this stuff. I'm not really sure where I'm going to move it to, but I do need to get it up and out of the way. And you can see I took this out here. I think this is the DEF, and it's over here on the ground. Room gives me more room because I needed to cut this bracket off that was in the way, and I need to move this stuff. Plus, I'll be welding. Yeah, this is definitely the catalyst because here's your injector for the DEF fluid. This is actually an injector kind of like you would have on your engine. It just injects at a certain rate, and it puts the DEF fluid through the catalyst to clean it out. It's mandated. It's all the Clean Air Acts and things. You've got to have stuff like this on your vehicles. Since this is going to be a majority off-road vehicle, I'm working with some cleaners. We're going to try to get this stuff deleted. And I'm in a non-emissions county, so which works out really well. If I need to put it back on later, become emissions county, I'll put it back on. It's not a big deal. But, okay, moving to the rear. This is the rear control arm mount here, and this is the upper. This is the lower, this is the upper. These all get cut off and grinded smooth. But this is a target. When you're off-road and you got to bump up a rock ledge, you usually end up hitting this, and then your tires grab and pull you up. But this is a major target. And you can see it's a little scuffed up. We've only been off-road a few times in this Jeep, but it's scuffed up already. These on my JK were just hammered. So that being said, these go away. Okay, I got the bracket. So this is replacing this. This is your lower arm mount. This is your upper arm mount. And keep in mind, guys, I'm learning as I go with this because I've never actually done a full install like that. I mean, I've done full installs. My last JK had the Rock Krawler X Factor kit, which is a great kit. Used it for 5 years, no problems at all. It did amazing. But this isn't a how-to video because I'm learning as I go. So just keep that in mind. I'm trying to be thorough and tell you all the parts and what's going to go down, but it's not a how-to video. So this is the new mount for the lower control arms. The rear is a 3-link. So we got to put these mounts on. This is a good reason or a good example of the high clearance because these are low. I've got to weld these on, and they go.
Oh gosh, it goes way up there.
Yeah, and they go way up. I think they go right, like around the middle area. I don't know.
This is definitely not a how-to.
But you can see it brings this up. Like there's nothing hanging down below the frame.
Right.
Besides this, all this stuff. This
Now you don't. You go from this literal target out here to
and then the
tucked
arm
in.
comes out through here. I've got to notch and cut out this motor mount or a body mount because the arm literally runs right through here. It connects to the axle. So that's why they call it high clearance. This and the shocks being moved up. It's just great inside.
There's a lot to do. There's a lot.
That's so daunting.
Oh my gosh.
But
you can do it. One step at a time.
hey guys, so back at it again for a little bit anyways on the old Jeep. I ended up getting a cheap little plasma cutter. Been wanting one for a while on Amazon. I did a bunch of reviews. This one had like over 1,100 reviews and almost a 5-star rating. So far it cuts like butter. So anyways, this is it. It's the Lotus brand LT5000D. It goes all the way up to 50 amps. It's got an internal regulator that I can adjust here for bigger, thicker metal. Both of these are your adjustments. It's got its own little water catcher back here with the internal regulator. I know they're all just a little different, but I don't really have to worry about the water here. I'm regulated and separated, and I got an oiler here, and this thing works absolutely perfect. But I've been cutting on it. It does really good on this thin stuff. I'm new to the old plasma, but I'll try not to get into the frame. If I do, I'll weld it and grind it back down. I'll get the Sawzall and cut right here along this weld. I'll cut it like a flat like in there and try to cut this thing off. This is probably the hardest bracket because it's a double stack bracket and it's welded, literally welded all the way around. And this one I've cut it off as well. On this side, I haven't even touched this one yet. I was home on lunch. I figured I'd play with it a little bit. That's what I've done so far. So far so good. It's a nice little cutter. I like it. That's an update. Peace out. Okay, I'm back. Got my fan going. It's kind of hot. Got my other fan going. Also, still hot. So, fixing to get old plasma back out. I'm working on this bracket right here. Then I'm gonna move over to this one. And gotta get this one and this one. Then this one and this one. And then I'll get the grinder out and try to grind all this stuff smooth. So that's what's fixing to go down. Time lapse coming soon. Peace. Okay, so I got all the brackets off. After some time working with this plasma cutter and getting all the settings right, it became a lot easier as far as just going in and knocking the welds off instead of trying to cut the brackets off, kind of half-assed, and just cutting the welds. So check it out. It actually turned out really good. Rear one here had 2 long welds on it, one here and one on the inside. So I just basically knocked those 2 welds off with the plasma and the bracket dropped right off. So this one was a little harder because of the placement of it. I mean, I got most of it. It's just a little bit of weld left. And then this top bracket, I don't know what I'm gonna do to get that thing off, if I even do. I may just grind it smooth on the end here and kind of leave it, because I say that because if you look on the inside where it's welded on top of the frame, if you can even see it, right? Yeah, right here, right there. I can't even get to that, especially with all these wires and sensors and things. I'm not gonna do it. Same thing over here in the gas tank. Thought about dropping the gas tank. I'm probably gonna get hell for this because I'm not gonna drop the gas tank. I'm gonna take my grinder wheel, and I'm gonna cut that thing smooth with the frame here, and that bad boy will stay in place. I think this tank's about half full of diesel. This double plated one, I thought was gonna be a real pain in the rear end. Turned out not so bad. I got in there, welds off. I still lack this one right here. I still gotta get in there and get it done. But same thing over here, just knock the welds out and hold the brackets off. It's gonna make for a heck of a lot less grinding. So that's what I've done so far. The little plasma cutter's working great. So it's time for a break. Peace. Okay, so this is gonna be the last little piece of this first video. I've got everything off the frame, everything's ground down, cleaned up, painted, looks really good. This little cutter over here has been great. I got my little Lincoln welder out here, got a little Lincoln 180. Let's take a look around here. So this is the rear where I cut off the brackets. I also clearanced the body mount for the control arm, and I'm starting to prep this area here for the actual bracket for the control arm. I've got to drill out this hole here to a 1-inch hole, and then the nut that's welded on the back of the bracket will go in here, and then that'll go here and weld it in. But this is good. This is cleaned up, clearanced. This side as well, cleaned up and clearanced. Don't look too bad. I didn't clearance, but I'm cleaning this up as well. I got to do a little more grinding. I want this smooth. This weld here around the frame, I want it smooth, so when that bracket goes up against it, it's flush as it can be. Look at the front. It's done. It's done. Ground. Brackets off. Ground down. Painted. I think the new brackets are gonna go in this area here. Not 100% sure yet, but we'll see. Same thing over here. I think the same thing. The bracket's gonna have to go in this area. You see these two little studs here? Well, that's for a sensor that goes right here. That's where this connects to, and that sensor's it's tucked up here out of the way, and then this little thing went over it because of the exhaust. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to relocate that. I ain't figured out what I'm gonna do with the harnesses and stuff yet either. So this being the diesel, it's just a little different, that's all. But I'll get it figured out, no big deal. That's it. That's a wrap on this video. Be sure to watch for the next one. It will be coming. It may take a while because there's still a lot of work to do, a lot of filming. It's hard to do work and film at the same time. I'm learning this the hard way. But I figured, I figured it'd be cool to let people see what I'm actually doing to this diesel. I mean, I know people are doing it to the JLs. I mean, it's a JL, but it's a diesel, so it's a little different. I just want to give it insight on it. So make sure you check out the next one. If you watch this one, like, subscribe if you want. Leave feedback in the comments, good or bad. Doesn't matter. I love constructive criticism. It makes me better. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Peace.